Morning, everybody. Thanks so much for joining. I think we've got a few people still trickling in Monday morning and all of that, but I think we'll get going. Thank you, everyone. Lovely to see you. Happy Monday. Thanks for joining our looking ahead to 2025. How you can get value out of BIMA, all of that good stuff. Sorry it's taken us until February to do this, but busy diaries, right? And it sounds like January was an insane month for everybody. My name's Matt, I'm the MD, and I'm going to take you through most of the slides, but halfway through, I'm going to pass over to Jess, who's going to take you through some of the L&D offering that we've got and how you can almost, well, you can pay for your membership fee with some funded training that we've got access to. So I'm going to show you some slides. This is a webinar format, but please make it interactive as interactive as you can. It's just the Q&A function, really. You can use the chat, but if you have any questions, pop them in the Q&A, and we'll probably just have to get to them at the end if that's okay. All right, I'm going to share some slides. Hopefully you can all see that. Jess, are you okay to keep an eye on the chat for questions in case there's anything that comes through?
Yep.
Thank you very much. Okay, looking ahead to 2025, February already. So BIMA, let's start off with the bigger picture, really. We do a million things for a million people, it feels like sometimes. And the way to make BIMA work from a corporate point of view is to make it quite a personal relationship. But we have to package it up around some structure and some strategy. Otherwise, there's just a lot going on and it's difficult to make sense of it all. So we package it up around 3 pillars. The umbrella sort of part of that is, where do we operate as a community? We operate where this technology and creativity meet in the middle. That's where BIMA sits. And within that, at a tactical point of view, all of our products and services are packaged up in one of 3 pillars. And I'm going to talk through the 3 pillars today, because as I do that, it will kind of hopefully inspire you to get involved in different areas. So the pillars are attract, upskill, and inspire, all pretty self-explanatory. Before I go on to that, it's our birthday this year. I thought I'd go with a bit of retro. Look at that. We're 40. So this is going to play a really big role in what we do throughout 2025. BIMA was launched in 1985. So we've been involved and embedded in UK digital for 40 years. There's been lots of talk this year of laser discs and booking holidays on teletext, and all sorts of kind of nostalgic things. But this will manifest itself at different points throughout the year. It's going to play quite a big role in our awards, because we're going to have this sort of nostalgic look at the awards of the late 80s and early 90s, and also therefore looking at what's going to happen in the future. We're going to do some stuff in the summer around South by Southwest London. We're looking at having a party there. So just keep your ears peeled, eyes peeled, ears open, whatever that saying is, for some birthday party shenanigans. And you could also join in that. So we've had a few agencies that want to take part in some celebrations with us. So that door's always open as well. So happy birthday, BIMA. If you're as old as me, you'll remember the mid-80s and God, digital. I just remember the tapes, right? And putting a pencil in it, trying to rewind it, recording the top 40 on a Sunday night. Anyway, enough of that. The community itself. So if you're a member, one of the main reasons you're probably in membership is that you don't want to, work on your own, and you want to network, you want to meet other like-minded people in different agencies. Now, that's the key point with BIMA. We're about 60% agency-led in membership. We've also got some brands, we've also got some tech platforms, really eclectic mix of people, a very eclectic mix of agencies as well. So the point is that you join BIMA not just because you want to be surrounded by people doing the same job in similar agencies to yours. It's you want to be more open-minded than that and meet people from different agencies and different walks of life. The key thing for me is that we're 60% London. So there is still sometimes a misconception that we're London-centric. We're really not. Some of the big headline events are still located in London, but we've got people all over the UK. We've got thriving communities in Scotland, the Northwest, along the South Coast, and in Bristol. And we have reps in those areas as well that will work with you. So there's something for everyone. So the non-London centric bit doesn't just mean Zoom meetings for BIMA, it means there's stuff happening on the ground as well. Right, the three pillars, remember they're attract, upskill, and inspire. I'll just talk about those three. And at the end of this, hopefully you'll just feel a bit more re-energized to get engaged in a few different areas of BIMA itself. So think of the attract pillar as a chronological timeline. It starts off with digital day, and it starts off with, like, as a community, we need to do stuff to attract talent to our industry. The digital day has been going, oh, I don't actually know, but 10 plus years, and we go into about 200 to 250 secondary schools every year, and they're all across the country. It's a brilliant initiative, and the schools always say it works best when we send people into the schools. So what we need is members to go into the schools for us. If you, very briefly, it's one day in November. We'll do all the work for you. We find you a school, we match you with a school. The live briefs are provided through us and our partner EPAM and Reflect Digital. And so you just need to give up a day to half a day to go into the school to workshop with the students. Essentially, we do this because even now, if you walk into a secondary school, we do this with mostly year 8 and year 10 and talk to them about what a career in digital is like. They still use that word coding and still a really binary response. So we're trying to change that perception, and we talk to them about problem solving through innovation. And it does work. The research shows that it opens their mind and they inspire to think more about what a career in digital is like. That's great. It's really, really good. And throughout some of the presentation, there'll be some of these other sort of culture-led activities that there's a self-interest in this as well, right? It's great that we all go into schools, and it's great that we're inspiring students to come and work in the industry as well. But what a lot of people do is use BIMA for like a plug-in for the culture stuff. It's really difficult to do these things on your own, especially if you're in an agency, because you're stacked at the moment. And we'll do it for you. So when clients ask you about culture, when employees ask you about culture, you can just say, this is your answer. This is what we actually do. And there's a lot of social media assets involved as well. So a lot of nice profile building with something really genuine. But also, let's not hide the fact we need to come together to sort of inspire more talent to come and work in our industry. You can play a slightly deeper role, if you like, in Digital Day, if something really lights a fire in your belly and you want to help us in certain areas. So I'll try and inspire some response by giving you some examples. We have brand extensions for Digital Day. We run a parents' evening, for example. Now, we know that Digital Day works, and we also know that sometimes when we inspire those students and they go back and they talk to mum, dad, guardians about wireframing and a job in UX, often that response is, what on earth is that? So we run parents' evenings for parents of the students of Digital Day. We also run other extensions for Digital Day itself to work with students that have special educational needs. We go to schools that specialize in teaching children with autism. We're doing some that specialize in have classes for children with ADHD. We're also launching something this year to go in to run Digital Day for children with vision impairment. So lots of different brand extensions. Now, there's a Digital Day Council that you can join and you can guide certain areas. But at the very least, please just register to say you'll be up for taking part this November. We'll find you a school and you can go and have some fun. So that's Digital Day. Then think of the chronological timeline, if you like. It then moves into actually finding talent for your business, as well as the culture stuff. We did have an internship program, and that's evolved this year to a work experience placement program. Sometimes your experience of work experience will be one thing, and it kind of is for me. So, for example, I've told this story quite a lot recently, but it's true. A couple of months ago, I coached kids football. One of the dads came up. It's like, "Oh, will you do some work experience?" And I was like, "Okay, do they even know what I do? Are they even interested?" They just hadn't organized it. And I was like, "Okay, fine, in you come." That's not what this is about. Our work experience program is about finding genuine hidden talent. It works in pockets of geographical areas. It's launching in Brighton imminently in the next couple of weeks, I think. And it will then move around the country. So there'll be maybe 3 to 4 mostly agencies, but it doesn't have to be, businesses in that area that want to take part. We've then got a platform where candidates can put themselves forward for the work experience placement. We go to places of education in those areas. We go to the job centres. We could do a bit of paid social just to try and make sure that we're finding that hidden talent. They then put forward their application by answering questions. They can upload videos, portfolios of work, and you can then score it and agree to let them come in. We'll give them a bit of training as well and minimum expectations in the workplace. We would like it to be in person. So that moves around the country this year. So keep an eye out for it. We're not asking you to pay them, but we are asking that you cover travel and food expenses, because again, that's going to be a barrier for some people. So look out for the work experience placement coming to you soon. I'm pretty sure it's going to Brighton, then Bournemouth. I think Bristol are up for it. Manchester Isles in Glasgow 2 weeks ago, and Scotland want to do it. So there'll be somewhere near you. And of course, we'll come to London as well. We have a program called BIMA Bridge, and we're desperately trying to kind of resurrect this. It's been going now for over 2 years. It started with the invasion in Ukraine, when we tried to find people jobs that were fleeing the country that had digital skills. But we refuse to kind of let this die. And the platform now is a recruitment platform on our website where we're trying to find asylum seekers and people seeking refuge in the UK that have some digital skills jobs in UK digital. Now, we're looking for people to join a committee to help drive this. So not only is it important, I think from a hiring point of view, that there's what feels like a really untapped market of great talent that's available to you that you might not know about. We can give you access to that, but also help us guide this platform. And we're working with refugee charities to help with advice and onboarding them. And if we can just find like 10 people jobs, in the next year, wouldn't that be an amazing thing? But we do need people to help drive the initiative. So again, I used the phrase earlier, if it sparks a fire in your belly and you'd really like to help drive this forward, get in touch and I'll send the slides out after this. So we're still on Attract. We include the Shima network in Attract because a large part of the Shima initiative is to make sure we're attracting the right talent to our industry and breaking down barriers and creating pathways for people. Shima is essentially there to support women in digital, to mend the gender gap. There's a community, a group of people that now meet every month to help drive the initiative. They met for the first time last week. The goal is to run quarterly events and also for the network to manifest itself in other ways and add value. Where we worked with a partner last year, Amy Keane at The Good Shout, to run a training session called The Good Return for mums returning to work after maternity leave, and that was really well received. The key thing, though, is that we want not only the committee that drives the initiative to be 50% men, but we would like all of the engagement to be 50% men as well. So if you want to join the Shima committee, please do. But we really need more men to show up and play part in this. The launch call, actually, we did it. We were about 50%, only 10 people, but it's a committee of people where we had 4 or 5 men there. So we're starting to make a difference. It's just really important that it's not just women supporting women in digital. Okay, so that's upskill. It's all about bringing in people into the industry as a whole. We can do that as a community. And again, you get that culture badge, talk to your clients, talk to people on social media, gives you some lovely stories to tell. And we give you all the social media assets. And then a lot of it's about finding young talent as well with the work experience program. The next pillar is upskill. Now, most of the initiatives in upskill are managed by Jess. So I'm going to pass you straight over to Jess, if that's okay, and she can tell you about how you can save a lot of money at the moment with some funded training.
Thanks, Matt. Hi, everyone. There'll be lots of questions around this, so please save them to the end and we'll get to them. If not, I can connect you after the call. But basically, a couple of years ago, we launched a partnership with Impact Futures. They became our upskilling expert, and we launched the Leadership and Management Academy, which is one of our funded academies. Then following that, we also joined forces with Just IT to provide the digital skills and IT programs, both of which are funded via the apprenticeship levy scheme, which I'll come on to in a second. Next slide, please, Matt. So the BIMA Leadership and Management Academy So Impact Futures, our upskilling expert, we wanted together to assist members in upskilling their current talent and retaining talent without having to touch their budgets. So we initially saw the need for leadership and management training. So the Academy is funded by the Apprenticeship Levy Scheme. I don't want to get into too much technical detail, but if you're an Apprenticeship Levy payer, so if your wage bill is greater than £3 million, every month you have an obligation to pay the government a levy into a levy pot. If you're not using it for your current teams and you don't utilise it, you lose it. It goes straight back to the government. So we want to ensure everyone is utilising their levy. If you're a non-levy paying customer, and so you'll be a smaller, medium-sized BIM member, you can still access this funding via the Apprenticeship Levy Scheme. What it means is the government fund 90%, 95% of the amount of the course. As you'll see, they range between 4,500 up to 14,000 for the course. So there's a large chunk of funding that you're receiving. And the obligation is that the company would just cover the additional 5%. But the great news is, with Impact Futures being our upskilling expert, they actually find that funding for you. So they will go to large companies who haven't used their levy. They've donated it to a smaller company. So the fantastic Bex at Impact Futures will do that work in the background. So there's no actual cost to you as a company. So within the Academy, there are 3 different courses. So there's something available to your current leaders and managers at whatever level of experience they're at, and they will gain an industry recognised qualification. So we've got level 3, which is for team leaders or supervisors. So this is great for anyone taking their first steps into management, or if they're currently managing a project or a team. This qualification is the equivalent of 2 A levels. Then we've got level 5. So this is for ops and departmental managers. Again, suitable for if they've been in the job 6 months or 6 years. This is the equivalent of an HND or foundation degree. Then we have the level 7, which is for senior leaders. So for those already working in a senior management role, this is our most popular course. And this is the equivalent to a master's degree. I mentioned that there's no financial commitment to the company. However, there is a time commitment. As it's funded via the Apprenticeship Levy Scheme, there's obviously some rules around how much time is needed for these courses during the working week. Typically, the courses run from 18 months to 24 months, and they'll consist of a monthly online workshop where you'll work with your cohort on a particular subject area, and then following on from that, there'll be an assignment which needs submitting following the call. Then there is the option, BIMA run closed cohorts throughout the year. So this means you'll be learning with other BIMA members, so it's a great chance to network and get to know each other throughout the course. However, there is the option to join an open cohort, which means you would be joining with companies and individuals from other industries. There's no preference for people. Some people prefer one to the other. Or there is the option, if you're a large company and you've got, say, 10 individuals that you want to run through a course, there is the opportunity to do a company closed cohort. So it would just be those 10 individuals working together throughout. Bex at Impact Futures is super helpful. She's happily discuss what is the correct level based on the information you provide for the individual or yourself. We'll talk about the requirements, the commitment, and discuss which type of cohort would be preferable for you. So the next steps, if you're interested in this, would either arrange a call with myself to discuss further, or I can just intro you directly to Bex to get the ball rolling, who will help you get all signed up and registered and answer any questions. And just as a teaser, we do have a business skills academy launching soon. So I'll be sharing more details of that soon also. Next slide, please, Matt. So in the same way, it hasn't swapped for me. Oh yeah, thank you, sorry. So in the same way, we have the BIMA Digital Skills and IT programs. This is in partnership with Just IT. It's funded in exactly the same way. Just IT will help you achieve the additional funding for the extra 5% if you're not a levy payer. So currently there are 9 courses in this program. This is all for upskilling current team members across 3 areas, so marketing, data, and IT and development. This would be if, for example, you've got a marketing manager who's been in role 3 or 4 years, however, never went to university to do a marketing qualification, didn't do any marketing qualifications at all. So this is just to sort of retain them, upskill them in their area of their job role. So in the marketing, we have content creator, multi-channel marketer, and marketing exec. So there'd be a course relevant to any job role across marketing, social, content, or comms. With data, we have data readiness, data analyst, business analyst. Again, this could be for a number of roles: admin roles, data roles, project managers, HR teams, marketing teams, commercial teams. So anyone who's dealing with data regularly, this is a great one to upskill them in those areas. And again, with IT and development, we have software developer, ICT network engineer, again, relevant to lots of job roles across the development and ICT space, even help desk support technicians and engineers. Again, next steps, you can get on a call with me and I can talk further with you, or I can intro you to Karina at Just IT, who'll be super helpful, talk to you which would be the relevant role for you, course for the roles. So any questions you can ask at the end or drop me a line. I'll be sharing all the links to all of this following, so we can get you signed up. And next slide, please, Matt. So this isn't a funded program, but this is one of BIMA's L&D programs. It's been around for a number of years and it's super popular. It's our mentoring program. So we have 3 cohorts every year: spring, summer, and autumn. It's a 6-month program to support any level of talent in your teams. There is a small admin fee attached to applying a mentee, so that's £395 plus VAT for the mentee. This is just to cover the admin and sort of the process, because we take our time in matching the correct. We won't match someone if we don't think it's a relevant match. We have a huge pool of mentors, so we'll create a process to match at least 2 levels above the mentee. There's quite a large application form, both from mentees and mentors, so we find out exactly what they can offer, what they're looking for. So the process of matching the 2 is taken pretty seriously, and we always ensure that it's a great match. As I said, it's 6 months. We have kick-off sessions and then we have catch-up sessions throughout the 6 months, so we support both the mentees and mentors throughout. Mentors, if they've not mentored before, they'll currently receive a half-day workshop just to get them prepared to being a mentor and increase their mentoring skills. Both mentees and mentors can get a lot out of it. The mentors, that's just as much upskilling themselves as upskilling for the mentees. So once again, I'll share links to that in the follow-up email, as this is managed by Choma in our team, so she's always on hand to answer any questions you might have around this also.
Thank you, Jess.
No worries.
Good stuff. Brilliant. Yeah, get involved, everyone. Get in contact and have a chat with Jess. I'm doing the level 7. and it's brilliant. I'm learning a huge amount. Pays for your membership fee. What a great way to keep talent, retain talent, I mean. Also, before we move on from the upskill pillar, we would include peer networks, because peer-to-peer learning is a huge part of being in BIMA. Every month, there's an online session. It's usually for 10 to 15 people to keep it sort of, keep everybody engaged. And therefore, they're usually attended by people with slightly siloed job roles in different businesses that want to connect with other people with similar jobs in very different businesses. They're pretty self-explanatory. You can see them all there, but they just turn up. So I'd urge you to maybe share that with your team and just pop along and see if it's for you. And then you get people that go regularly because they develop friendships and a nice community around them. So peer networks, every month, there's one of those. There's some other stuff, but around L&D resources. But I think we've covered a large part of it. Maybe the only thing that hasn't been mentioned that probably should be is the bottom right. We run a masterclass every month, and it's using this, like what I said, this really lovely eclectic mix of people we've got in membership. So it's a webinar run by the membership for membership. So that's interesting for obvious reasons, right? So you can just attend, and there's interesting learning on the back of it as part of your membership. But also, if you've got very particular skills within your business and you're happy to sort of impart them to the rest of the community, you're seen as a thought leader. It goes out on social media again. Put yourselves forward to run one, and we can add the link to this when we send the slides out after the webinar. Okay, so that's the first two of the pillars done. Please do use the chat and pop your questions in the Q&A, and we'll get to them at the end. The third pillar is inspire. So if we're at this sort of really exciting area where technology and creativity collide, there's a lot of innovation and a lot of tech involved. So this is where we kind of try and understand what's happening to the marketplace, and more importantly, with the tools that you might be able to use going forward. At the heart of the inspire pillar, at the heart of BIMA really, we have a selection of councils. The red boxes that you can see are the groups of councils. The white boxes are the councils themselves. A bit like the peer groups, they're fairly self-explanatory, but they're very different into how they run. So a council is a group of people with very sort of specialist experience and skills. They come together. Most of them meet every month, but they're action orientated. So as of the end of last year, every council now is tasked with providing insight, inspiration, and content back to membership in the form of events and the content itself. So they package them up. The event will be a headline event. We run one each month, so each council runs one, and the content is totally down to them. Could be a podcast, could be a white paper. So the key thing is that you've got these councils providing content for you now as a community and being proactive in trying to think about what you need to think about in their respective areas. Part B is that you can put yourself forward to be on a council and really deepen your engagement with BIMA. There is a time commitment. It's kind of roll your sleeves up and get stuck in. I would say maybe half a day to a day a month in and out, because you are asked to play a role in finding speakers, working on the content. But really, you get a lot of value back. Now, we've had a kind of shift around the end of last year, so quite a few councils are recruiting at the moment, and we're having a bit of a recruitment drive. So we can send this out, and also a link to put yourselves or to forward it on to colleagues that might want to play a role and join a council. A bit like councils, another way of really kind of deepening your own personal engagement with BIMA is to join a steering group. Steering groups, like I said, are a bit like councils, but less action orientated. A steering group, we just ask you to come to one meeting a month and help guide and steer certain parts of BIMA. We're actually a really small team in BIMA, and I don't think it should be just us running these programs. We need the advice of people that are out there in the industry, so yourself. So you can just join a steering group. Again, it's a really nice thing to do to connect with people. It's also a nice thing to do for personal profile. You do get a lot back from it, and you're just there to guide us with ideas and strategy around some of our products. Those ones are in the white boxes. This is all part of the profile part again. If you don't know, you can upload content to our website. Somebody within your organization should have the keys to that and the admin rights. It doesn't matter if it's been published elsewhere. It's fine to go on the BIMA site. Please do self-serve stuff. I think really important though is when you get some thought leadership, the more evergreen style content and opinion-based stuff, that's the stuff that the community really likes. And we've got Choma, who has the keys to our social media. You could pop Choma a note and just say, this has just been published on our website. Any chance of it going out on social? Choma's lovely. She very seldom says no, but that's where you get all the eyeballs, and that's where you start to get client eyeballs as well. Still within the inspire part, we start to now look at the work that's being produced and the people that are producing that work. We have 2 award programs. One is called the BIMA 100, and that's awards for people. So we find 100 people that have done something really cool, or have had really real value to the industry every year. There's a judging process to find those 100 people. That starts soon because we're getting really close to the close of entries. Now, the deadline is the 14th of February, which is next week. Sometimes there's an extension, but I can't promise that. So try and get your entries in next week if you can. Now, it's free for BIMA membership to nominate, and you nominate your clients. There's a category for that. If you're in an agency, you can nominate your colleagues, which is a great way of getting them personal profile, especially if you're in a marketing PR role within your business. But you can also nominate yourself, and a lot of people do. I always say the same thing. I don't know why it always makes me laugh, but everybody writes about themselves in the third person, which is fine, and it probably does help the judging experience if you do that. But yeah, write your own entry about yourself in the third person, but get those entries in by the end of next week, because it's a really cool thing to be part of the BIMA 100, and it's just totally free. You just got to give a bit of time crafting your entry. But it's not like the awards entries where you've got people provide case studies and videos. It's largely a text-based entry. You can upload some visual content if you want. So big call out, close of entries next week. Our second awards program is awards for the work. Whereas the BIMA 100s for the people, this is for the work itself. And this has been going for 40 years. It was launched when BIMA started. So that's where we're going to have a lot of fun with the 40th birthday this year, having this lovely nostalgic look at what I mentioned earlier, laser discs and teletext. It opens in April. The 2 key things are, 1, entries open in April, and the categories will be released before then. You get a free entry if you're in BIMA membership. You get reduced entries after that. But I would say just as importantly, we open the call for judges in April as well. Now, it's really interesting to judge the awards. You can benchmark your own work. It's great networking. There's an online part to it, and then there's an in-person, and we go around the country. We usually have judging in Manchester, Scotland, the South Coast, Bristol, and then a 2-day event in London. So yeah, great for benchmarking your own work. And you also tend to find the people that judge, all of a sudden they get far better at their crafting their entries, because you get to really see the best entries and how they're put forward. So April, awards entries and awards judging. In June, if you haven't heard, South by Southwest are coming to London. We kind of operate this convergence of technology and creativity, which is exactly where South by sits. The only thing is it's great, you get to go, but Austin is a bit of a trek sometimes. They're coming to London for the first time, first week of June, South by Southwest London, and it's causing quite a stir. They've closed off their speaker submission deadline, so hopefully some of you have got your submissions in and you managed to get some stage time at South by, but it's not always easy. There's a huge amount of people that put themselves forward. So we're trying to provide a route into South by through BIMA membership. Now, we're really, really close to having this finalized. Probably by the end of the week, we'll have a 2-day event space. We're just calling it BIMA House at the moment, right in the middle of all the South by activity. And we're exploring an official partnership with South by themselves. The idea is that we have this event space. I hope a lot of you will be in London for that week. You'll have a home, somewhere to hang out, but we'll also break it down into content slots as well. So you can put yourselves forward to run content within BIMA House, which should also be promoted as part of the South by program. So that's really exciting. Keep an eye out over the next week or 2 for more details on that. The BIMA culture bit, this kind of sounds sometimes a little bit right on, but I think it's really, really important because culture plays a massive part in BIMA. I've probably used that word more than I have technology, which is weird for like a technology community, right? But it's so key to us. It's the thing that sort of binds this lovely group of eclectic people together. The Sustainability Council, the DE&I Council, the Wellbeing Steering Group, the Young Talent Steering Group, they're all really, really active, as active as like the AI Council, the Immersive Tech Council, etc., etc. It's we're not mindlessly putting out sort of innovative products into the world without caring about the impact that they have. So if culture plays a really big part in your life or your job role, there's something for you in BIMA. I suppose the point of this is it's not just all about tech, right? It's about the people that design the tech. That's the most important thing, that we look after them and make sure that the tech that they are putting out into the industry has a positive impact. But it's also fun. We do have some fun stuff. On the left-hand side, I didn't get to go this year, but that's the crew. They went on the BIMA ski trip. It goes every year. They have a great time. In the middle is the pub quiz. It's a bit pixelated. The pub quiz is brilliant fun. It's in April or May, the next one. I'll have to double check. But it's run in different cities. And if you haven't been before, you won't know this. Run in different cities. You come together and you compete against other businesses in your area. But we have a live scoreboard that taps in the average scores of maybe Scotland, Bristol, Manchester, London, and Brighton. And the area with the highest average score gets money behind the bar, and everybody has a bit of fun on that. So look out for the pub quiz in April or May. Top right is BIMA Surf. We haven't confirmed it yet this year, but if there's anything like this that's required and is in demand of BIMA membership, get involved. I think the point of this slide is we have a bit of fun. Right, I'm nearly there. Please put your questions in the Q&A functionality. A massive thanks to our partners, first of all. All of these people help keep BIMA afloat, as do you with your membership fee. We are a non-for-profit. If we're reporting to a governance team, I have to show that the money's being spent in all the right places, that we're running work experience programs, that we're going into schools with Digital Day, and we're trying to support you as businesses as well. So it all goes back. No founders or shareholders to make money out of it. Also, you can be a partner. So we're 60% agency, but some agencies sell to other agencies. There are tech platforms, and it's fine to sort of change your membership sometimes to more of a promotional relationship with BIMA. We have the amazing Louise on our team that can talk to you about any partnership opportunities, and that manifests itself in all sorts of ways, helping you run an event, helping you run a webinar, breakfast event, doing something at South by, sponsoring a category awards. There's all sorts of things you can do to promote your business to membership. I think I said at the beginning, it feels like we do a million things for a million people, and it sometimes does. We run a lot of events. Here's just a few things that are coming up. My general sort of pitch here, I suppose, is if you're not already really involved, you haven't found your own community in BIMA, that's the goal. Dabble for a bit, try a few different things, but find your own kind of micro community. And if we get 5 or 6 people in a small to medium-sized business getting real value from BIMA membership and get 1 or 2 people on the training, there's loads and loads of benefit for you to get from your membership. That's how we would make it work, rather than just focusing on the leaders of that organization. Look at the events page and dabble, try a few things, find what really works for you. Those events that are in green are in person, the ones in grey are online, but it's just an idea of what's coming up. Ta-da! Thank you so much for listening to all of that. And thanks, Jess, for going through the training. I haven't looked at the Q&A yet, but I will do, and we can see if there are any questions.
Yep, there are just a couple.
Yeah, got you, Jess. Have you got what are the course lengths for the Just IT programs, the skills-based ones?
So dependent on the level, but typically they're between sort of 15 and 23 months. The higher the level, slightly longer course. So yeah, still a bit of time commitment associated to those as well.
Do you plan to do any one-off workshops? Doesn't appear to be anything on the website. So we've got boot camps that we often run. I know we're working on one of those at the moment, but they're not one-off, are they, Jess? You would go through those as is, over a series of weeks. And I think we've got planning one around client services.
And in terms of workshops, we try to deliver what the community needs. So if there's an area that the community are needing specific training in, that we've got a number of training companies in membership or who have partnered with us previously. So if there is any need for any particular areas, just always drop us a line, let us know, and we'll do our best to serve the community.
Okay. Anybody else got anything that they want to ask? Hopefully it all makes sense. Good. I think with it, that's an easy one then, Jess. We did. I think that means we did a good job in presenting, right? Everybody's got the information they need.
I think so.
Okay. Right, we'll send the slides out. If you have any questions at all, please do contact us. Make it a personal relationship. We'll have a few links in there as well. We've mentioned links to the training, links to the masterclasses, details of Choma if you want to ask for stuff to go on social media. Like, get to know the team is a really important part of making BIMA work for you. But if there isn't anything else, I think we call it a day. Okay, lovely. Thanks so much for joining, and thanks so much for your support, everybody. Like, BIMA is basically you. We facilitate what you need and the ideas that you've got. Like I said, we're non-for-profit, so rest in mind that it all goes towards a really good cause, and we do some great stuff. Have a lovely rest of the day. Thanks, Jess.
Thanks everyone. See you later.
Bye, everyone.